suppose. So I can edit. It's basically the same arm here. Where is that? Hello, Homunculus. Thank you. I got a cold, so took a week off. Well, I got over the cold. Had a sore throat, so didn't really feel like talking throughout the workday. Let's see. Let's give him like a. Yep, yeah, I'm better now. Should I be holding this? Like. Let me see. Clipboard. Maybe I should look up maybe I'll look up a reference of a clipboard. How does a clipboard even look? Yep. Today's going to be a slightly shorter day, just because I've got a doctor's appointment. So we will wrap up a little early. chat. And that'll do. Thin that out a little bit. Anyway, for the game, since I wound up not working on the art assets as much, I went ahead and got done with a bunch of the kind of like data type things that are really boring to watch. And using the hero system, so I can kind of show you that. But I've got like notes on things, and one of my notes is the gear napkin, where I just write down all the different things. So I've finished off all this stuff. It's like a bunch of mathematical formulas based on the hero system that kind of inform us how much these things are going to cost. Then of course I have to tweak a little bit because the mechanics aren't totally identical. But we've got about half of Zeke's left-hand items, and then all of the player character's left-hand items are done. And so that it's actually a little bit more tedious than I really gave it credit for. I thought I would have it done a lot quicker than I did. But it is actually kind of a lot of drawing to do. Or not drawing, excuse me, a lot of math to do. Shading. But anyway, the next Rainbow Dash Presents episode has been, or not Rainbow Dash Presents, Where Are We episode has been shipped off the audio anyway. So PetaRep's got it, and he'll get to it as time permits. On his end, he's got his own full-time work that he has to do. And for sure, there is not a lot of money in YouTube in most cases now. So it'll get done when it gets done. It should happen eventually. Hello, Mitchell. It's 1 in the morning for you. Well, that sounds exhausting. Oh, Joe, get it, Joe, get it, guy. Oh, I get it. Joe, get it. Let's see. This. Let me see. This is about a little bigger than the eraser bit. What did I draw here anyway? Like a box. A box, that is. I'll fill this in a second. A box that kind of comes out. I think I had it doing like this. I might kind of like that anyway, and then made it like a shoulder piece. Let's see here. So I want that to come down to about here. Get rid of all these extra lines. All the angles. That's what land surveyors know. All the angles. used to work in land survey. I had a guy yell that at me. He drove as he was driving by on the street. He yelled, "Land surveyors know all the angles." And I was like, "What was that about?" And my boss was just like, "Oh, this is an old land surveyor." That's something they used to say. They don't really say that anymore because now you kind of use the computer for everything. So the computer knows all the angles. It's different times. Yeah, land survey used to be a different animal than it is now. It used to be that like a surveyor could, like, how do I, like Captain Cook would have been a land surveyor in a sense. Like old explorers were land surveyors because you had to navigate by the stars and you made maps, and effectively land survey was a little bit adventurous. And it was all based on a lot of personal knowledge and the ability to do like sine, cosine in your head. I had considered going into civil engineering, and so I remember one of my friends, his dad was a land surveyor, which is how I got into the job. Because he was like in a company. He was like, my dad could. I could ask my dad if he'd be willing, because he was working there as one of the crew members. But he didn't like the guy they just hired. He didn't want to work under him. So he got me working under the guy. And so it wasn't the big favor, it sounds like. It was like, I was like, oh, thanks, sweet, like a job. And then it turned out it was because it was something he just didn't want to do. It was like, oh, okay, thanks. A trap. But anyway. He was like, oh yeah, my dad can do like sine, cosine, stuff like that in his head. And I was like, oh, he does the, I think Newton's method is what it is, because I learned how to do that. And Newton's method is like iteratively solving. Or maybe there was a shorthand. Maybe it wasn't Newton's method. I can't remember, but there is a shorthand method to like do sine, cosine, and everything so that you can estimate it roughly in your head. And you won't be like correct to as accurately as a computer is, which is why nobody does it anymore. But that used to just kind of be like that sort of knowledge. Those mathematical principles were part of the job, and but there was lots of field work. So not only did you have to be kind of a math nerd, you also had to be cool with like being out in the woods and everything else. So it was like one of those kinds of careers that's going to foster a lot of like internal culture type stuff, because it's like only certain kinds of people are legitimately going to be interested in doing land survey. Like if you are a land survey, you're one of those people. But once it became more about computers, that culture became lost a little bit, where it got to be more about, you can hire crews and they don't have to be as mathematically savvy to go out and do that kind of stuff. They still have to be cool with going out in the woods, but it becomes more of a, I don't know, rather than survey crews know all the angles, it's like survey crews have seen the inside of your sewer drains, and it's weird. You'd be surprised what's in there. You don't think about it much, but there's a lot of stuff in your sewers. I've been down in them. They lowered me down on a cable. Not the septic stuff, the storm drains. Odd. I wonder why this is overlapping once. Wonder why. Why did I do that? Probably gonna find out later why I did that. Oh well. Yeah, survey work is fascinating in just as far as like how many places you'll find yourself going. Like, I don't know, you just kind of get into a lot of places and see a lot of things that you might not otherwise see. Like, I did work for the airport, and they needed us to know all the alphabet stuff and everything. So you get into that, like, Romeo, Echo, Charlie. Like, I need to move to Charlie 3. Can I? Whatever. So we got kind of like into the culture of the airport a little bit, because we had to work with them. Like, not deep in it or anything like that, but just enough that you kind of get a feel for what it's like a little bit for the people working there. And that's interesting. But, like, everything needs survey at some point, so you just kind of, like, get everywhere, see lots of things, get yelled at by weird people who, like, aren't prepared for you to be where you are. That used to happen. I had some guy once come out and yell at us because we had to we were supposed to be looking at the sewer system, or the storm drains, and we had some guy get really mad at us because we had to hit the lid with a sledgehammer to get it open, because they just get stuck sometimes. I mean, like, they get asphalt put over them and everything, and the road crews, when they do that, they're not worried about people getting access to the manholes, because for the most part nobody needs to. It's rare that you'll find yourself needing to be in a manhole. And anyone who needs to get in a manhole will find their own way in. So that's us, It's like we're just like, okay, stuck manhole. It's very routine. You just got used to that. You get out a sledgehammer, you bash that hole open. And the street can take it, the manhole, the manhole's gonna take it, it's fine. But some guy saw us doing that, and he flipped out. He came out, he yelled at us. He's like, "What are you doing out here?" And he was pissed. I don't think that shade's actually gonna be there. Just drawing all this. It's not really reconsider that. I don't know. Yeah. There. Anyway, so he was just pissed, and he asked us what we were doing. We tried to explain, and he's like, "I'm a close friend with political figures. You know, I know the people down in the city council, and they would have told me if somebody was going to come out and be hammering on my sewer system, and like it's just he's had a fit." So we're like, I don't know what to tell you, sir. But we absolutely are doing land survey here. Gosh, there was another guy, like some really, like just super racist dude, who once walked out while I was working. I was doing land survey, and like you can't go anywhere when you're doing your survey because you're just like glued in place. You know, you're like measuring out all the things, and if you move, it would screw things up for you. So you're just there. And so this like guy came out, and he just started like talking to me, and then it like he's just like, "Yeah, you guys are land surveyors, huh?" And I'm like, yep, land survey. And then he just started like expressing opinions about black people, and it was like I couldn't go anywhere, and it's like it's his neighborhood, so you're just like sitting there, and he's just like telling me all this like this like these slurs that I'd never heard before in my life. And it's just like, oh, okay, wow, I'm learning a lot today. Like I'd never heard people use these slurs that he was using before, and like I didn't know what to say or do about it, because like you can't go anywhere. Like I gotta stand here and do this land survey for the rest of the day, and it was like out in front of his house. we have to come back all the time. That's the other thing, is that you can't. It's not like, oh, I'm just gonna be here for the day and I'll never see him again. Like sometimes you could be there for like weeks. So yeah, like I saw that guy multiple times, and he would just come out and have these conversations with me. Like it wouldn't be conversations, it'd be very one-sided. He would just stand next to me, and he would just talk about racist stuff, and I couldn't go anywhere. I was like, okay, I don't know what to do about this. So, interesting job. The weirdest thing too is that he was like giving me crash courses on, like, he's like, "Do you know where this racial slur came from?" Like no, sir, I've never heard of this before. He's like, no, I don't know. Well, let me tell you then. Okay. We got that too. Like there would be places that you would go to, like in bad parts of town, and you'd kind of be like, I think this might be like a whorehouse or something. A captive audience. Yeah. Yeah, and you just try not to think about it, Because again, like you have to come back, and sometimes you could tell that they were up to something because they would be watching you. Like every day you go out, they'd like keep their eye on you because they don't really like nobody really knows what that gear is. And I remember once somebody asked me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, we're taking like snapshots of the area for the land survey. It's just mapping out the like terrain." And then after I said that, my boss was like, "Don't ever tell people we're taking snapshots or pictures or anything." He goes, "Just tell them that they're little. Make sure that they know that they're just little dots. They're just They're just dots on an elevation map because people will like pull guns on you if they find out that you're like if you're in a bad neighborhood and you're taking pictures and they think that you're taking pictures like that's like they will shoot at you. Don't do it. Don't tell people that." Because we're not taking photos. There's no photos. Is that guy sweating while he plays a game? Is this that? Wait. No. Wait. No. That guy? I press so many keys. Oh yeah. There's a lot of hotkeys for this kind of work. Hotkeys are your friend. They save you so much time. Debating whether or not it's not real clear where the light's hitting on this. It's kind of like would seem kind of like from the top. Probably would want to. Yeah, I don't know though. Does it go around on that side? It does. And I'll have to draw it there. New hand for this side. Leaning forward and wearing headphones. I've probably seen that meme, but it does not ring a bell at the moment. Yeah, land survey in the U.S. is a little bit dangerous as far as people do have guns, and if you are not careful, you could anger somebody, and they might decide that they have a right to use the gun. And in a lot of like I am in a more of a right wing state, so it's common that there are laws that tell them that they can use the gun. So there's some people that get really comfortable with the idea that they could use the gun. I once had somebody they had like a bunch of Saint Bernards, and they let them all out on us while we were doing like land survey, not in their yard, but like near their yard. I'm pretty sure that we were like using the machine to take shots of elevation in their yard. because you can like bounce the beams off of stuff. So if you can see like, oh, there's a ground, you don't necessarily have to climb into somebody's yard, but legally, in the area we were working, land surveyors actually can go into your onto your property without permission. Like they don't need it. They don't need the permission. This hand is a wreck. I don't know what I'm drawing. I don't know what I'm drawing. But just because you know that as a land surveyor does not mean that other people know that. So you can be like, ah, yes, sir, I'm allowed on your property, and they'll be like, no, you aren't. So you did have to be careful with stuff like that, because the law doesn't matter when the opinion is like one guy's got a gun and the other guy doesn't. So yeah, so we weren't even in this person's yard. We were just doing, like taking again, it's not pictures. We were taking elevation snapshots of their land, and they just let all their Saint Bernards on us. They just let them out, like they just let them out in the front yard, and it was like, okay, it's a lot of dogs, big dogs. Like I actually never seen a Saint Bernard before up close. So I was shocked by what large animals they are. They're huge. How do somebody hold things? How does people hold object? The St. Bernards didn't do anything. They didn't know that they were, like, they just wanted to scare us. We just got surrounded by them is all. I was like, okay. Imagine having guns. Yeah, you'd get those with like farmers. We had a guy once. We had to like we had to go out on the farm for the airport, and there was a guy who there was a farmer, and we just went up to him and we were like, hey, can we go into your farm, get some elevation stuff from your farm? And he was like, sure, I'll drive you out there. And he brought his gun because he didn't trust us. And so he just had his gun sitting up on the thing the whole time, and that is not the direction the thumb points. I'm just sitting here trying to freehand a dang. work, I guess. Fingers, hands. Spent enough time on this. And a Springador. What kind of dog's a Springador? Looks like a medium-sized kind of dog. I think this one with the fluffy ears. Just for the benefit of chat, for whatever's in chat, there's a Springador. There's a Springador with the fluffy ears. I lost it now. Hello, Allison. It's flipped around, but oh well. Pull me back to this thing. Did I get... I did. I get the clipboard over on the body layer. That's a pain. It's frustrating that it keeps going back to stuff. Luckily, I don't think Albert's got any actual scenes with the main characters, so it should be fine. Just his fingers, apparently. That's drawing. guess I can do that. Let's see. I need to get a new. Yeah, well, I'll get around to that. Gotta bounce. Okay. Have some good. You have a good meal time, Joe. And thank you. I'm glad that you're inspired by my endeavors, my ongoing trials and tribulations. Make like experimental airplanes and fly up. That sounds like a fun game. That sounds like a game where eventually I would just start making the worst possible planes and see how long they can stay airborne. Yeah, his little hard hat. He's already made of like reinforced steel, but you know, the hard hat is, this is Nosha standard. Gotta wear this. Somehow, color's gotten detached. I don't know. Yeah, sometimes the amount of time that goes into those passion project video games is pretty nuts. Just like they're like, I'm gonna make a game. It's gonna be Kerbal Space Program, but better. And then they sit down, and that's genuinely what they do. I didn't really follow all the controversy that went on with Kerbal Space Program. I know they did a sequel, and it wasn't as good as the original. Something about it being like really poorly optimized. Made for plane nerds, perfect plane. Yeah, I mean that's the essence of like that's one thing that I like about things that are still pretty open to modding and stuff like that, is that you find that, you know, you'll get something and it'll be like, this is good, but I'd really like it to be completely different. Too much Kerbal, not enough gerbil. I wonder if Toon Boom got a stabilizer. I haven't really looked into it. I've basically just been using the stuff that I was familiar with and haven't really explored any of its new features, of which there were supposedly a decent number. As far as I understand, Toon Boom did add useful things between versions. Like people would talk about like, oh, this is actually good. Like this is a reason that we might actually upgrade. Stabilizer would save me some pain. Let me see. So I want to just like, and to come down to like here. It's a little bit long, or a little bit wide, that is. I'm going to narrow it up a little bit. And 3D model your own stuff. So I really like Stellaris because it's a game that allows for a lot of modding. Like you can do 3D models with Stellaris and add your own stuff, and some people do. But what makes it really easy is that a lot of it is just 2D icons. And so you'll find a lot of people will play that game and you know, just change everything about it. I haven't done any good like engineering games in a long time. Stamp tool. We've never used that stamp tool. I gotta look into what anything good at the stamp tool there. What can I add? What kind of stamps? Would it save me any time? Kind of suspect it wouldn't, but you never know. Could be that it's in there for a reason. Trailmakers? No, I've never heard of Trailmakers. What is Trailmakers? Oops. Oh, I got the wrong highlights. All-in-one building game with less control. It's grid. Sounds like The Sims. On the basis of knowing pretty much nothing. Ah, man, speaking of, you know what games I missed? The Sims. It is a shame what EA did to Maxis. Sims is nothing like Rare Greg stream. No. I was sick for a little while. So I'm back. I'm no longer sick, and so we're back to streaming. Not rare. Common, I promise. Just reuse that. Healthy Greg stream, yeah. Speaking of health, I'm gonna go get some more coffee. Okay. This brain is as smooth as it needs to be. He uses it to avoid thinking about life's problems. All the problems that he's supposed to be solving, they just slide right off of that smooth brain. Like stressed? Nah. I'll just keep on working. Once we're done with this guy, we can start building the factory stuff and then doing the cutscenes and be like, this is Zeke and these are the cutscenes and da 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 da. So we are just about to the point of that. I gotta figure out how interesting do I want the factory to be. It's the pressure feels pretty big. Like I have ideas for all the stuff that I want to do for the other things. I was kind of imagining this as just being a tutorial, but like as I started to think about it, it's like, oh, but it's also kind of like the first thing the players are gonna do, and it's gonna inform them whether or not they really want to keep playing the game. And so if it's not very interesting, what if they don't keep playing the game? And that's now I've been overthinking it. And I'm just like, what if I should be panicking more than I am about whether or not the factory level is the factory intro level, this Swift tutorial is really cool. Because it was just gonna be like, go in the bathroom and kill these hermit crabs. Why are they living here? Don't ask dumb questions. Kill them. But now I'm kind of thinking about it. It's like, what should I do? Should I add puzzles? Should I try to be like, this is what the game's gonna be like? Should there be intrigue, passion, a romantic subplot between the blobs? Yes, and I'm kind of panicking about it, overthinking it. Bring a Gao Avenger. It's probably a little too big for their robots. These guys are like 4 feet tall, about. I think the Gao would tear them off their feet. I went to an air show recently, and while I was sick, and that was fun. I was just out there like runny nose. But that aside, they had the big planes. The A-10 was out there and everything, so I got to see one of those up close. I've already seen an A-10, but it's been a while since I have seen one. They had like the big cargo planes though, and those are cool, just because they're so huge. They let you walk around inside the cargo planes. So I brought my son there, and we thought that he was going to think the fighter jets were really cool, but we underestimated how loud they were. Because I've never seen the Thunderbolts in person or anything, and I kind of knew we were in trouble when I was looking around, and I could see like there were other families out there that like lived near the. You could tell that they'd been to these things before, or they like lived near the Air Force Base or something, because they all had like those really heavy duty earphones. Oh, the fighter jets, God, they sound like monsters. Like they sound like something that'd kill you. It's just like roar, boom, like you feel it down in your stomach. They're nuts. But yeah, we weren't prepared for how loud they were, and my son was also not prepared for how loud they were going to be, so he was upset with us when they started going overhead, because all he could do is plug his ears, and he's just like, when is it over? They got us. They have this trick that they do that I thought was kind of funny and a bit cheeky, where they fly by in a really tight formation, so it looks like they're a single plane, but as they cross by you, you can see that they're like four planes all just packed in real close to each other, which is really cool. And while you're watching them do that, because the whole trick is that like you can see the planes better as they pass by, they have another plane come in behind you over the shoulder of the crowd, and it flies low. It's just like it's like a snarling monster, and you're not expecting it. So you're just like, oh, cool, look at that. And then, like, just like everybody, the whole crowd panic. Like, everybody jump. And you know that they do that on purpose. Like, they're just like, they get a laugh out of that one. Which I also thought was funny. I appreciated the joke. My son did not appreciate the joke. He did not think that was okay. But I thought it was pretty funny. Like they got us pretty good there on that one. Yeah, it is like an earthquake. Like it's pretty cool. Like it was pretty cool. But more cool for me and my wife. Not so cool. My son didn't like it. I thought he would like it. I thought he'd be like really impressed by the airplanes, but he was mostly just mad at how loud they were. If we'd brought a good set of headphones, he probably would have liked it a lot more. So if we ever do it again, we know better this time. We're gonna bring the heavy duty headphones. Construction headphones. so that way he can actually enjoy it and not be livid with mom and dad for bringing him to this noisy monster airplane thing. Yeah, Claudia, I think, used to keep some emergency headphones for him just for occasions like that. But I mean, like, we never, there are very few emergency noise situations, and so we just didn't have them anymore. She quit carrying them in her purse. Because I can't remember whatever compelled her to start putting them in there. There was something that happened that, like, it was just really loud, and her son was, like, little. And then she was like, oh, if I had these headphones in my purse, then he would have been fine. So she's about to do that. For a while, and then quit the practice of doing it. Oops, grab that stamp. Yeah, all creative work, it's always so much more in depth than you give it credit for. Even when you're nice and experienced on stuff like this, it's still easy to underestimate how long it'll take to get stuff done. Like, you get optimistic. You're like, oh, I could probably finish this in no time at all. Like, I'll get it done. It'll be real quick. You get started working on it, you're like, that was dumb. I don't know why I thought I was gonna, like, finish this really fast. I don't know what compelled me to have such hubris as to imagine. Gosh, even this. This is I am repurposing the rig that I already drew for Unit 1. Is our main character basically. Thinking this will save a lot of time and I'll get done with it real quick. Be able to move on real fast. And I should have known because I used to do this with the ponies. Back when I did pony animation. You draw one pony. Yeah, I got a system. It's gonna be great, you know. And yeah. But we used to do this with ponies though, where I would get just a pony body, and then it's like, oh, all I gotta do now is just draw on the hair and the tail. But you do it for a full 360 turn, and then that adds, even though you've got a rig and you're saving a lot of time in theory, you're not saving an infinite amount of time, you're just saving some time. You still gotta do so much work. That clipboard got too small, actually. Make it a little bigger. Luckily, it's just a rectangle. Yeah. When I was originally making this game, the first attempt I took at it, I actually didn't do any shading. I just made everything flat, and it did make it a lot quicker to produce. But you know, I don't know. Even like this basic like 3-tone shading is so much nicer looking. Like, yeah, it adds time, but it's so much it's so much better for having done it. And of course, with stuff like this, you get in that law of diminishing returns, though, where it's like if you're really careful, if you do lots of like shading, color gradients, and things like that, you can get pretty he's got like a did I just turn this around? Is that what I did? Yeah, let myself get distracted here. I forgot what I was saying. Something about shading and work and oh yeah, yeah, diminishing returns and everything. Yes, yes. No, I mean like when it's done, like it is worthwhile, and that's kind of the insidious nature of it, is that it is. You can't argue with the results. So at the end, you're just like, ooh, it looks really good and everything like that. The trouble comes into like if you're trying to make deadlines, and then it's like, oh, I gotta get this done by Tuesday, and then if you're like working really hard on all that nice stuff, like what you do get done, it looks really good, but then you can only do just so much before your deadline. Yes. Hubris and overconfidence. Yeah, like I could do it. I can do it. It'll be fine. Okay, I'm not super confident I'm gonna need the back quarter turns on this guy. I am gonna need the back because he's gonna be walking around behind you. Ah, man, rigging. Till in the morning. Yeah, wouldn't stay up. We'll stream again tomorrow, and we'll be streaming for longer tomorrow. Although it'll still be too late for your time zone. It sounds like one way or the other. I guess what I'm telling you is you can ruin your sleep schedule every day. Not to worry, we'll be here to prevent you from getting an adequate rest as often as possible. Bicep were like here, it's kind of the catch with these robots is trying to figure out like where exactly is Is that about right? That's about right. Go to the sound of key presses. Click, clack, click, clack. Let's see. So this is going to want to come out. So I've depicted it above the thing for most of this. And actually, this is the view that you're going to see in slightly more detail. So it does matter a little bit more. Only a little bit, though. The highly futuristic Taskmaster 5000. Leading in technological innovation where it comes to clipboards and the like. Listen back that. So some people tell me that the MechWarrior series is one of the favorite things that I've done for them, and I think it's just got to be because they're so. I worked really hard to just try to make it very very human, or as much as I could. One of the characters to feel like they had their own motives and feelings and everything. It also helped that I loved the heck out of that game. I used to play it all the time. There was, I don't know exactly what happened because I would occasionally just log on, but I think that there might have been a game group at my college that was playing MechWarrior 4 because I recall just getting online, or getting on it and just finding a large group of people playing the game. It might have also been maybe they had a stable server for a while. I'm not sure. But it was like well after the game had been released. It was like, you know, it seemed like it shouldn't have been still supported. So I don't know what was going on with it, but it was something just like I got on and I was like, are there servers? What can I do? And then there they were. So I used to play online. It was funny because if you play with like a really heavy, like you take out the engines, not very many people would do this because it makes you really vulnerable. Perfectly. It made you really vulnerable, but if you took out your engines and slowed way, way down, you could load yourself up with so many guns that you were like a threat to everything. And it was kind of funny because I got online and I came in with like a Daishi with like 4 Gauss cannons or something, and got noticed quickly because it's just like you'd see another mech and you just like click on it and it would be gone. Although what was really funny was that I actually didn't use the mouse thing so much. I actually would use the keyboard, and so I would like rotate to a certain degree. It felt more like piloting a tank that way. But like I would get the turret rotated, and then like as somebody crossed ahead of my turret, I would get used to like timing that. So I would follow their momentum, set the turret ahead of them, and then as they crossed the crosshairs, I'd hit them. And like you have this like long reset time before you can fire again. So it felt very natural to play it that way. Like fire your guns, boom, kill something, regain your targeting, reload the weapons, find the next target. Yeah. There was also another trick that people really hated, where if you took a really tiny mech, you could go to passive sensors. A direwolf, freeborn scum. Like so many of the games are set in the inner sphere. It's called a Daishi so often, really, unless you're in the clan space. Oh yeah, but there was something that people hated where you could get like a little mech and you'd go to passive sensors, so you wouldn't show up on their active radar, and you'd get the narc beacons. And with those, then what you do is you'd run around to like the back lines about as quick as you could, and you would find people who were like playing the big sniper mechs, and you would just drop like 10 narc beacons right at their feet. They would be hit by this like massive artillery strike, and they wouldn't know where it came from, because like it'll tell you where the hit comes from, but it was artillery, so it's just like above. So it's like they wouldn't know, like, how did I get one shot by this like massive artillery strike? Like, what did it? It'd be like, oh, it's this cheeky little Osiris with all these narc weapons. And I don't know what to say as far as like sniper spotting goes. It felt pretty. That also felt pretty appropriate. But yeah, people hated that. That was like, this is not honorable combat. This is worse than snipe. Like, they were sniping, which people will say is the lowest form of. I don't know, whatever, but I just don't have anything for that. Well, same deal. I don't know if I need this. Anyway. I'll just try to avoid using these. Oh, before I forget, actually, hello, Scooter Tricks. I need to actually set up a background for Zeke here. For his character portrait, because I realized like our hero has let's use the pen, it's cleaner. Our hero has like stuff in the background that makes him a little bit more exciting to look at. So we're going to do the same thing for Zeke here. Get him something. There we go, and we can do 3. Portrait. Drag this over here so you guys can actually see it. But okay, we had Zeke's face here was like very exciting. And now he is, and so now different battles. So we got support abilities for Zeke. These are all kind of fleshed out now, so this way when you do your multi-hit stuff, you're more likely to actually get something out of it. You're gonna see 3 hits. Mostly thanks to Zeke. Oop. And they're gradually coming together. Maybe not mostly thanks to Zeke, but partly thanks to Zeke. Space Marines too. I don't know, I'm not really that into Space Marines on the whole. They're just too... I don't know. Like I like the horror of the setting and everything. Have you not seen? We made a little bit of progress. I don't know. Madam Sugar Skull maybe hasn't seen what we got, but here I'll put it on display a little bit. We've been working. We don't have like a proper level where you do things yet, but that's what this building's gonna be. Greenworks, first place you're supposed to go, tutorial level. And we'll add some more NPCs around these little areas. We want to make it so we can go down the frog slide. And then we've got this over here, which is a little mixed up with the animation, but I don't know. We learned some things about the tile sets versus sprite animation through that. Hey, you're a little robot guy. You gotta take on robot jobs to pay your robot bills. And yeah, so the first major level is you're gonna be walked through some of the basics of the game by this guy here, who, I need to remember, has got like a little panel on his arm. Where he's supposed to. It's like not a big deal. He's just got a little panel. Just something to break up the arm a little bit, because he's got a lot of yellow there. Okay. Probably use this. I don't know why it's flipped. Probably for some kind of good reason I'm going to find out about later. That's his pen arm, right? Is that? Yeah. That's the pen arm. Oh, lucky me. Can reuse that asset. Can't do it for the hand though. Hands are like that. Here's these chiral grippies. Are they chiral? Hey, chiral. No, they're chiral. Chiral. Here's a $2 word for you if you didn't already know it. Technically, you wouldn't hold your forearm like that if you were relaxed, but on the one hand, I could do better. On the other hand, Albert only exists for this particular segment of the game. He is its tutorial character only. Does it need to be right? Probably it should be right. But what if it wasn't? What if I was just lazy? Let me see. pen. We'll do like this, kind of. Hope people like the music and everything. I don't worry about it being grating, since that is it's an important thing. Could just put it on repeat and force the chat to listen to it for an entire... Like, I can't wait for a robot to be doing jobs instead of a human. This will distract from the existential dread. Oh no, well here's what's nice. You are the robot. That's why you see he's got a brain in here. Not to worry. Humans are still doing all the work. Well, they're not doing all the work. They're doing a lot of... They're doing work. It doesn't take very many humans to do the work, so you get to retire in a nice little pod. When you're not working. And in that pod are advertisements. So you get to enjoy a mix of paradise and also advertising. It was just paradise, but you know, paradise can be expensive, so they had to make compromises. Can't see what I'm doing anymore. Oh, ByteByte says the music is annoyingly funny. Not sure how I feel about that assessment. Yeah. Well, corporate cruelty is one of those things that's it's interesting because it's often kind of incidental. Like, it would be inefficient for corporations to just be cruel for no reason. So a lot of times the cruelty just comes around because it's like the easiest thing that they could do. You know, like it's so much easier to be cruel than it is to create an ethical and happy system. So, you know, it's like, well, everyone's captive in these pods. And, you know, the costs on the pods are going up and we need to make more profit. So what if we just started running advertisements into the pod dream paradise? That would solve the problem. Let's see, so I've already made him hold his arm goofy. should make him goofy the other way. And in theory, the consistency will make it so that fewer people notice that it's goofy. Although it might be one of those things that like people just look at it and they're just like, I can't put my finger on it, but this looks goofy. You can have the ads removed for a fee. Yeah, I got a couple of fun little joke things going on with our sort of futuristic world. One of which is that you have a computer and you can check your emails, and it's nothing but spam. And it's actually based on spam that I get to my inbox. So I go to my inbox and I've looked for spam that I've received, and then I've just been rewriting it creatively to make it funny. It alarms me a little bit exactly how many of my spam messages are just legitimate viruses, though. Like, there are a lot of viruses that they send me. I normally just don't read them, and didn't notice exactly how many malicious attempts to steal my credentials and everything else I've gotten, but they are constant. They're just like, open this PDF file, just go here, give us your personal information. It's like, ah, jeez. But some of them are funny. There's one that's gonna appear fairly baffling because it was like a political ad, and it was yeah, you just lose all of your money. You're already flat broke when the game starts, which is why you're doing work in the first place. So it's just like your balance is 0. Get out of your dream paradise. Go make some money. the shading backwards on this. If I'm going by the other hand, anyway. Although I got the shading all mixed up. Oops. Hold this up here. Don't know where this came from. What are you? I don't even know. New 3. I hope I don't have to figure it out. Oh yeah, but anyway though, so the spam, the joke with the spam is that you can delete all of your spam messages and everything if you want, but if you do, there's a timer, and every so many seconds you get another spam message, and so you'll continue to accumulate spam as the game goes on. Okay. I'm gonna use the restroom. Okay. Yeah. There was one email that I got that was like it was a political action thing, and it was something about like gay angels dancing on a pin or something like that. And it was not exactly what it was. It was like somebody who made a something. They were like doing some kind of hobby thing and then selling it, and then like it was like the political action committee was like, you could donate money to this and I was just like, okay. And so I just kind of wrote like a fairly deranged like political email, and like it's sort of like it was in that vein. It was like but I made it more fear-mongery instead of just like, oh, you could give money to this positive thing. It was just like I just like described a completely inane like weird thing, and then I was just like, scared yet? You should be. Donate here. What should you be scared about? I actually don't know. But let's see. Do I have? I do. Okay, so we can use that. We'll just cheat that. And I think this gives us enough to work with. We'll just avoid the turns that I don't have anything on. Albert's not like a long-term character, so it should be fine. Hello, the dog. I guess I'll probably come up. Okay, so good. That's probably enough to do our animations with Albert. I believe that all the sprite sheets start with like a left walking. Watched that series back in high school. Yeah, past the point of that stuff making me feel old. At this point, it's just kind of like time is flying. It's like my wife was like, "How long have we been married now?" It's like years. She's like, "No," and I'm like, "Well, if you think about it, it's like take our son's age, and then add like a little bit of time onto that, and that's how long we've been married." It's like, oh gosh, oh that is true, isn't it? Feel like his age will always be correlated to the number of years we've been married, won't it be? You're like, yeah. Like the older he gets, the longer we'll have been married. Where are we? Sprites, I think we want. Is it characters? Oh yeah, characters. Let's see, World Sprite. Okay, so it actually starts with facing down. So we'll do that. I was mistaken. Start here. All right. We'll do like a left leg. Ball joint. I got that attached. That means that must be the case on our main sprite too. That's not good. Be lazy about these front view things here. Whoops. Oh, right, and then we're gonna pop up just a little bit. Feeling like there was some reason why I usually put the leg so far back. Well, if I'd really been able to do my Banana Republic stuff like I wanted, there were things definitely that I had planned for the characters that I think would have been fun. I talked about in the previous stream things that I would have done. Put this backwards. Let me see. Walking. Opposite leg. Did I pull it forward or put it back? Okay. Put it forward. Right. Just got like a light swing on his arms there. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. What did happen with that? I mean, like, it's just I had whole shows planned, and so it's gonna be very ambitious. But it was honestly too ambitious. So like, I was never gonna get it done. So with the yellow blue scheme. Blue's kind of his highlight color. It's more of a yellow-orange blue. But yeah, the animation stuff was a little too ambitious. It was really, I was probably never gonna actually get it done in any timely manner. Like the amount of work that would have had to go in would have been just nuts. And then we did a comic. but we only really got one episode done. I have this organized. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, I want to go here. Oh, import. Oh. Let me see, Albert. Just name him. Okay. Okay, let's double check this, make sure we got our scene settings correct. 96 by 96. To Albert. Hey, Albert. Okay, then we do the left. Yeah, Peyton was actually killing people on occasion. Well and genuinely, yeah. That was kind of the joke, was that you underestimate her, but she probably should have been reported to the police. You're just like, she wouldn't really. No, she does. She does, and she should be stopped. But if you stopped her, she wouldn't pay rent anymore. So you gotta think about that. Should you do it firearms? Firearms would be most typical. Like, the most common thing that she would do is just show up, shoot somebody, and leave. And as far as she was concerned, it wasn't that difficult of work. So it was just something that she did, and she didn't really think about it. Yeah, we would have actually the second comic that we would have done would have actually touched a little bit on the fact that Peyton was genuinely dangerous, because she would have the scenario was that like Ray was looking out her window, and she realizes that when she closes the blinds and opens them again, there's like a park outside their apartment complex, and there's not normally a little it's like a children's park, but there's not normally one there. Like if you go outside, there's no park. So she's like opening and closing the blinds, and there's this just like there's a park out there. So she sends Peyton out there, and she's like, go out in that park, like see if there's a park there. So Peyton goes out there, and she's like, there's no park. But then a guy walks up, and he's like got a bunch of balloons, and he's like trying to offer her a balloon, but Peyton can't see him. And Ray's like, there's a guy trying to give you balloons. And Peyton's like, is there, where? And, she guides Peyton. She's like, okay, hold open your hand. I was trying to hold it to you. Like, oh, take the balloon. And then Peyton takes the balloon. And she winds up in this, like, weird alternate dimension where this children's park is. And everybody's got like balloons for heads, and it's they're like doppelgangers of everybody else in the world. So she winds up in like a shootout scenario with herself, but as a balloon version of herself. And so she's going to all of her like stashes where she keeps her guns and everything else, and trying to get her doppelganger killed by like enemies that she's made in real life. And that was gonna be the comic, the comic that was all about kind of her the reality that she actually did work with the mob, or she did hits. And it would have involved her brother too. She had a brother. And her brother was actually how she got into the mob. Because he worked for it a lot more actively. That was like a family thing that their mom didn't know about. Yeah, the insanity helped. Volt says the Brony meme base finally ran out of steam. You mean like Derpy Burrow, or? I feel like saying the Bronies have run out of memes is like not the least bit weird, because There hasn't been much to. I've been seeing a lot of complaints about Gen 5, I guess, got canceled. And people who didn't like Gen 5 were like, yeah. And so there's people who are mad or like, why would you celebrate this? So I've seen that. Oh no, hold on, I've got this backwards. This arm forward. This arm back. Oh no, that Peyton was just doing traffic reports. That was just bringing back the character. It was a cameo. The Radio Skyline Peyton was just a cameo thing. So that wasn't like canon to anything that would have happened in Semi-Intelligent. I wanted to do the voice. I like the idea of like Peyton reporting traffic but not really understanding the details of her job. Like, I don't know, there are blue ones, and they are driving. No, this is not Ollie. This is Albert. He's just our tutorial guy. So Albert's just going to be here. His abilities are hostile evaluation and friendly evaluation. And if you target somebody, then he'll evaluate that monster or that character and tell you about them and how they can better fight these things or how their abilities are useful. And so he's got the clipboard and the pen. He has his other abilities besides the evaluation is he can throw the pen, and it does a little bit of damage. Ollie's going to be a little bit different. I was thinking about maybe doing like a cow catcher, like having a cow catcher on Ollie's face. I was going to make him more boxy too. Speaking of a dire wolf Daishi a while back, I was going to make him look kind of like that, like a big, like a beefier looking robot than everybody else. They're already pretty chunky, but he'll be a little even more so. Or maybe just very boxy. I do not know why. It's got this stretch thing to it. It's like pulling way over. needs to go inside rather than outside. Same over here. Stretch this out a little bit. Shorten this one up. There we go, and that's lazy, but it gets us a walking. It gets us our walk cycle, and then we're done with that at least, which is good because it's time for me to wrap this up. I got a doctor's thing I gotta go to. It's a routine thing, but I gotta go to it. Which means I gotta get lunch, and then I'm gonna have to go out to that. So that's what we're going to call it for today. So yes, he can evaluate himself. Yes, so he will also give opinions on himself. I'm kind of thinking about they're going to be disparaging opinions, but yeah. But okay, yes. Thanks for joining me, guys. We'll do it again tomorrow.